Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to another Mind, Body, Spirit Development um, class. We're gonna start this day off by just doing three sets of bicep curls. So, right now, I'm gonna use a pretend barbell, but if you guys have a barbell, or if you have dumbbells at home, or even if you just have a rubber band, even if you don't have any gym equipment, rubber bands, temporarily can be very effective in not only building that strength, but also growing. It's even though you're not really dealing with a specific amount of weight, you are still giving those muscles time. We like, us fitness professionals like to call it time under tension. Now, time under tension usually involves somewhere between like low and medium tempo. And if you wanted to go higher tempo, well, then you would just increase your reps. So, like, let's say you have 5 pound weights, but you want to build muscle, and maybe at this point you've gotten really used to those 5 pound weights. You can always increase the reps. So, you might do 30, 40, 50 reps of bicep curls just with the little 5 pound dumbbells. But let's just say that you have they have dumbbells. I know that I don't I know that this is a pretend barbell, but the techniques still the rules still apply. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna first start. I'm gonna go ahead and turn to the side for you guys so that you can get a better idea. What you want to do first is you want to make sure that you're standing up nice and straight. You want to make sure that your feet are about shoulder width apart, just so that you get that guidance and that protection from your feet, so that you're able to stand still. If you want to stand narrowly, you can do that. I wouldn't recommend it personally. It's just better to have that guidance and protection whenever you're doing any kind of whenever you're working with any kind of free weights, or if you're working with a specific amount of weight. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna again stand up nice and straight. Make sure that your shoulders are rolled back. Retract those shoulder blades. And then you want to keep your elbows at your sides. And as you're doing the movement, you're going to first bring your palms in towards your chest. I'm going to go at about a medium tempo right now, just so that we can get that time under tension that we were talking about. So we're gonna do three sets of 10. So you're gonna keep your elbows at your sides at all times, and you're just gonna slowly bring your palms in towards your chest. Remember, do not move your elbows. Do not flare them, and also do not bend your back in the process. If you can't do a certain amount of weight without bending your back, I would highly suggest that you lower the weight, just so that you're safe, just so that you don't hurt yourself. But those are like the top two don'ts. Do not flare your elbows out. Do not bend your back. And more importantly, don't do both. Don't bend your back, and then also don't flare your elbows. You want to keep those elbows nice and tight and locked in at all times. So here we go. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, give yourself a few seconds. Grab some water, grab a towel, whatever you have to do. I would suggest right before we do these workouts that you get some cardio in. Spend 10 or 20 minutes on the Stairmaster or on the elliptical. Go on the treadmill. I think you need to make sure that your heart rate is an adequate frequency to be able to handle these workouts, and that you're all stretched out, you're good to go, you're not super tight anywhere. So just FYI, in the future, make sure that you do a 5 to 10 minute warm up, and that could be cardio or that could be stretching. But try to get some cardio in. Okay, couple more sets. Remember, as I'm keeping these elbows locked in, I'm also placing a lot of concentration. I'm really isolating the biceps. That's the whole point. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. You can either do half reps, which is, you bring your palms up towards your chest, and then you only come down about halfway. But see what I'm doing wrong? I'm flaring my elbows out. You do not want to do that. You want to keep your elbows to your sides at all times. So half reps look a little bit something like this. You bring your palms up towards your chest, and then you'll come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then come back up again. And then if you wanted to put a little bit more emphasis on your forearms, then you just turn your palms towards the floor like this. So I mean, these are kind of like bicep curls reversed, but you're placing a little bit more concentration on your forearms. So there's a couple different ways, but let's go ahead and get into the second set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, notice how I performed that set. I didn't go too fast. I didn't go too slow. I was about a medium tempo. So there's high tempo, there's medium tempo. High tempo is usually for people that get really bored with their workouts and they need a little bit more intensity and excitement in their workouts. But if you really are focused on increasing your strength and putting on mass, medium tempo is definitely the way to go as far as time under tension goes. So let's go ahead and get into the third set. So again, keep those elbows locked in. Do not move. Do not move your elbows. Do not bend your back. Stay nice and still, almost like you're tied up and you can't move. But the only parts of your body that you can move right now are your arms. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so that was our workout. Hope that you guys got a good sweat in. Even if you didn't, at least you learned something today, right? So, hang on. I'm gonna try to lower this down so I can sit. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about something called, I'm sure you guys have heard of it, imposter syndrome. Now, what exactly is imposter syndrome? Well, it's this stage, whether you're trying to find your purpose, or whether you're just getting started in a career, or whether you're going to school for something, or you're starting a business, you're starting a social media platform. Everybody experiences imposter syndrome at one point or another. Everybody, we all have this growing pains phase that we have to navigate, and that we have to try to take lessons from, rather than feeling like we're lost, or getting frustrated, or feeling like things are just not moving fast enough. I honestly think that imposter syndrome is necessary, because that's how you find out who you really are, what you're made of, what you're capable of, and so on and so forth. It is absolutely necessary. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you don't have a purpose, or that you're just trying something out, or that you're only doing something for money. Maybe you are doing something for money. Maybe you are in a particular job where the paycheck is really important to you, and maybe you've piqued some interest in it a little bit, before you started, but the primary objective for you was money, right? That's why a lot of people get into these careers. That's why a lot of people major in whatever when they go to college. Even if it's a major that doesn't necessarily apply to their career field or make sense, right? People by and large are just trying to figure it out as they go, especially when they're young. But I don't really think that age really has any bearing on where you're at in life, or if you really are who you say you are, or if you're not really skilled in whatever career you're in, or whatever business that you're trying to start. I think it just happens to everybody at different times in different stages of their life, and that's okay. There's plenty of people that they've just coasted throughout their 20s, and maybe they don't find out what they really want to do until they're 28 or 29, which could be scary for people at 28, 29, because you're thinking, oh shit, I'm going to be 30 here pretty soon, and I'm just now starting to figure this all out. I'm just now starting to like even get an idea of what your purpose is. It can be really frustrating, because it's not an overnight, you know, it's finding your purpose, or trying to get into some kind of job, isn't just some overnight, thing that's going to happen for you. It's not going to just fall in your lap. It takes days, it takes months, it can take years, maybe even decades before you start to realize what your true potential is, um, or why are you even, what is your why? Kind of like what we were talking about last week. Have you figured that out? Are you figuring that out? Or are you like how I was a year ago, 2 years ago, where I was just winging it? And to be honest, I think I think I spent a lot of time trying to be a carbon copy of other people, just so that other people like me, or just so that I can get more followers, or just so that I can get more views. Hey, they like this person over here. They really like, what they're talking about. They really like, their companies, their brands. I better start trying to do what they're doing, right? And if you do that, you know, if you do that in the long term, it's not a very it's not sustainable, because if you try to become a carbon copy version of someone else, then you just you might gain the other person's personality, their success, but then you start to lose yourself. You start to lose yourself before you even know before you even know who you are. And sadly, I mean, that's what happens to a lot of people. And I almost I almost fell trapped to that mentality. Like I mean, I could very easily be doing that, but then what would I really gain? Even if you gained everything out of the world, because of that, what have you really gained? And again, it's not sustainable, because people are going to pe, pe, people seem to have this tendency of being able to, um, pull the curtain back, and expose people for who they really are. And maybe that's just me, because I'm very intuitive. I I have a very good, bullshit detector. Yeah, I mean, I could be a detective, seriously, because it doesn't matter who it is. It could be a complete stranger, somebody that I'm giving a ride to. All I have to do is look at them, their body language. All I have to do is look at their eyes. Your eyes tell everybody in the world what they need to know about you. And I mean, that's all I really need, is to look into somebody's face. And what story does their face tell me? Well, some people, they seem insecure. They may not they may not talk about how insecure they are. They may not express it, but it's there, and you can see it, and you can see right through them. So people eventually are going to find out. And once they find out, it's over for you. And it could have very well been, it could like you could have avoided a lot of heartbreak, a lot of disappointment, a lot of, you know, if you would have just taken a few minutes to really have these inner dialogues with yourself and ask yourself, who am I really? What is my purpose? If you had just done that and then just let it flow, let other people see you for who you are, own whoever you are, because people are going to see, people are going to notice, and you're and who you are, and what your and what your legacy will be, will stand the test of time. It's not going to just be some temporary, you know, uh lifestyle. It's not going to be some temporary trend. It's not going to be, it's not going to be just some one hit wonder. People are going to acknowledge you, and they are going to be inspired by you, and they will remember you forever. Recently I've heard people say that, when you die, and 100, 200 years go by, nobody knows you, nobody remembers you, and nobody even cares, and I couldn't disagree with that more. I think whatever you leave behind, whoever you are when you die, it'll live on for decades and centuries to come. The spirit will still be there. Your soul will still go on, and people will still remember the things that you do. It doesn't matter if they're still alive or if they're still here. It really doesn't matter. Look, this building, this chair that I'm sitting in right now, um, the way that the city ordinance controls and maintains everything, all the buildings, all the roads, the staff here at this building, the way that our country is right now, even the ground that you and I are standing on right now. This is all a direct result of people from 100, 200 years ago that decided that they wanted to make a change. None of this would be like even close to possible if it weren't for people. I mean, people that have been dead for decades. But again, their their meaning and their purpose still goes on. It still goes on and on and on and on. But you have to, I hate to say it, but you kind of have to fake it until you make it. You kind of have to play imposter for a little bit. And hopefully you don't use that as an opportunity or a vehicle to scam people, or to grift people out of money, or to deceive people, or you know, or ruin people's lives. Just as long as you're not intentionally hurting anybody. It's okay to have imposter syndrome. And, to be honest, I don't think it ever really stops. I think no matter who you are, you are just always going to be confused about what your purpose is, no matter what. Forget this narrative that we've been taught our whole lives that you get to a certain age, you graduate high school. When you graduate high school, you got to figure out what you're going to major in college, and you have to go to college. You have to you have to if you don't have your purpose figured out yet, don't worry. We'll take care of that for you. We'll decide for you. You're going to be a lawyer, or you are going to be a doctor. But I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't want to be a doctor. We were all raised to believe that you either have to figure out what gives you meaning and what gives you purpose at 17, 18 years old, or someone else just decides that for you. But life doesn't happen like that. It doesn't work like that. It's not linear. It is very up and down. It is very chaotic. It's very confusing. And you're learning little by little, piece by piece. You are never going to get to a certain age where you know you just settle for this one job, or you settle for this one career, and as long as it pays good, as long as you get benefits, and as long as you can like you have a 401k and you can retire, you can get a pension, just as long as you'll be taken care of for the rest of your life, you're good. No, it doesn't work like that, because life happens. People lose their jobs. People start to lose their people start to become less knowledgeable as the years go on, and you're not going to school anymore. So I mean, what's the point in continuing to educate yourself? I mean, I can tell you right now, I have been in the fitness industry for almost 10 years. And it changes. It changes all the time. I can't just take what I've learned from 10 years ago and think, hey, you know what? Like this is the answer. This is the formula that people need to lose weight, or to gain muscle, or to get stronger, right? It doesn't work like that. Fitness, science, biology is ever changing, and it's not unlike anything else in life. The law changes, theology changes. We have, I mean, how many different versions of the Bible now, passed on from century to century to century? Information is always changing. The world is always changing around us. So we have to keep learning. We have to keep getting better. And just because you have friends, or you have family, or you're with that special somebody, if you're a guy right now, and you've asked a girl out on a date and now she's your girlfriend, or now she's your fiance, or now you guys are married. You may think that you've won the lottery, right? Or you may think that you have that grip and that hold on her. You know, this unspoken agreement that she will never, she will never get frustrated, or that she'll never like even think about leaving, or getting a divorce. It is always a process of learning about that person, even though you've known them now for 10 years. You are always learning about the other person like you're learning about yourself. You learn new things every day. It's not like you go out on a date with a woman and she checks every box, and she's she's pretty close to, if she isn't already, the perfect woman for you. You may be, out having drinks with her, and you think, hey, you know what, this is going really well. I like where this is going. She seems like a good woman. She's empathetic. She's a good listener. And vice versa, right? Hey, you know what? This guy that I've been dating, he is just hands like just like perfect. He's the perfect guy for me. He is protective. He's supportive. He's a good listener. He's all those things, right? But again, people change. Just because you think that guy that you were dating might be have been a really good listener and a really good boyfriend at the beginning, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to continue that trajectory, because in his mind, he thinks that he, he thinks that he pretty much owns you, right? I've already got the woman, like what else do I need to do? But everything is a journey. And when it comes to imposter syndrome, I think people just get so caught up in the uncertainty, and it's scary being you know being confused, and feeling like you're just coasting, or feeling like your life just isn't going anywhere, or that you're not exactly sure what your purpose is. It can be very, it's terrifying, because you think that just because your life has always been like that, it means that your life is going to continue to be like that. And not only will it continue to be like that, but it'll continue to get worse, because you don't have a plan. You don't know who you are. And how can you really get better, or maintain a good life, if you don't have a plan, you know or you might find yourself, you might find that you're a little bit of a hypocrite. Maybe you're in the health and wellness space, and you're giving people advice about health and diet. Meanwhile, you still can't lay off of the cookies. You still can't give up that soda. You feel like just a complete bottom of the barrel, you know, low life. Like why am I doing this? Why am I telling other people when, like I can't even tell myself to just, be a little bit more careful about my diet. So there's a couple of aspects that come to that, people talk about when it comes to imposter syndrome, and that is not fully understanding who you are, and then maybe you have an idea of who you are, but you kind of feel like you're like a used car salesman. You kind of feel like you're trying to sell something to people that you don't use. And that oftentimes makes us feel like we're doing something wrong, or that we're leading people astray, or that we're leading ourselves astray. But it's important. It's necessary. Because at the end of the day, how can you really find out who you are if you don't have at least 100 mistakes, that you either keep repeating, or that you've just made a bunch of different mistakes, and now you've gotten nowhere. But that's how you learn. That's how you find out. If you're not completely sure about who you are or what your purpose is, start with the little things. Start with what you might think you really like. Just start with that, and then take it from there. But again, it's a very gradual journey. It doesn't stop. It doesn't end. And I want you to be okay with not being there yet. I want you to be okay with not being ready yet. I want you to say to yourself, I woke up this morning because God has something for me to do. I don't know what that is yet. I have an idea, but I'm not really sure yet. It's okay. I'm going to go ahead and get into verse here really quick with you guys. This comes out of Jeremiah 29, 10 through 11. After Babylonia has been the strongest nation for 70 years, I will be kind and bring you back to Jerusalem, just as I have promised. I will bless you with a future filled with hope, a future of success, not of suffering. Okay, so just to give you guys a teeny weeny bit of context here. So the Jews were under strong dictatorship of the under the Babylonians. People were slaves. People felt like there was no way out. And Jeremiah over here is telling them, hey, it's okay. You're free. But wait, what if we're not free? And even that we are free, then what's the point? How do we become happy? So these are just the Jews. They're feeling stuck, and they're feeling very hopeless. And he's telling them, listen, you don't have to worry about tomorrow. You do not have to worry about what is going to unfold for you in the years to come. God has a plan. God has a future. But I want to piggyback off of that and say that even though God has a plan, God has a future for you. It doesn't necessarily it doesn't mean that you just sit back and you just you just wait to see what happens. It doesn't mean that you just sit around and wait, or that you just coast through life and just continue with this attitude of it's okay. God will do X, Y, and Z. I don't really need to do anything about my situation. I don't have to act. I don't have to make moves. I don't have to make cold calls. I don't have to pick up a hobby. I don't have to pick up some kind of skill set. I don't have to go to school for this. I don't have to get training for that. I'll just wait to see what happens. And maybe you're somebody that doesn't even believe in God, and you believe that. You just think that things are just going to happen for you. That the universe has this grandiose plan for you to make a lot of money, and to like be a leader or of something, when you're just being very stagnant. You are being very you are getting very complacent. So whenever it's talked about anywhere in scripture about God having a plan, or having a future, just know that this does not give anybody the green light to just sit back, wait, and just hope that everything works out. You have to put in the work. You have to initiate. You have to start moving. You know, you know, and when it comes to dating or relationships, people are always talking about, oh well, God has the perfect mate, or the perfect soulmate for you. You don't have to worry. She's out there, or he's out there waiting for you. Well, no, that doesn't work unless you start to become that person for them. If you're not if you're not making any kind of effort into bettering yourself, or finding your purpose, finding out who you are, you know, like working out, training, eating the right foods, drinking plenty of water, getting plenty of sleep, saving money, um, having a job. You don't necessarily have to be this, upper middle class, someone who makes six figures, or someone who makes over $500,000 a year, or you don't even have to do really well. You just need to have a job, like something, whether it's working at a grocery store, working at a restaurant, or even just being an Uber driver, or a delivery driver. But you have to do something, right? I mean, what I just said was obvious, but in order to meet that special person, right, or to fall in love with that special person, make it work. You have to work. And if you're somebody, if you're somebody who's really struggling, if you're somebody who is really, you just feel very insecure, you don't have any confidence, can consider that first before you even start thinking about some fairy tale romantic love story that you'll potentially have with somebody. um if you need help, if you need to start training, if you need to see a therapist in the short term, then then do it. Don't ignore it. Don't just think that your problems are just going to go away, or that they're just going to go away because of somebody else. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to come and fix everything. Not your friends, not your parents. If you're somebody that grew up in a very unfortunate, if you grew up under very toxic parents, and now you're just looking for. It's interesting to think about when people become adults. They're usually out looking for looking for a dad figure, or looking for a mom figure. Somebody to take the place of whoever their biological parents were that couldn't do that for them. And yeah, I mean, I do believe in mentors, and I do believe in soulmates. I do believe in you know the when you're with somebody that is currently growing and that helps you grow, that, I mean, that's perfect. But again, you have to do the work on yourself first. And that's what it means to be in the middle of imposter syndrome. It's not negative. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just part of life. And and there's nothing wrong with you. You are not a loser. You are not too screwed up to make any kind of difference or make any kind of change in this world. You are not too far gone. You are not broken. You are not a lost cause. You right now, you are perfect where you are. Because there's unfinished business. There's something that you need to work out within yourself before you can go to the next level. And I I'm preaching to the choir, because you know I'm still in that process too. I mean, think about it. Like, I'm, in my low 30s. I'm not married. I don't have any kids. But but is it really, would it work right now? Would it be necessary? Would I even still be married? I kind of doubt it, to be honest. And I'm probably not even ready to get married or have kids right now. And that's okay. Again, it's not an age thing. It's not a matter of, oh well, you need to, by time you're 30, by time you're 35, you have to get X, Y, and Z figured out. No, that's not the way it works. Life is an ongoing process, and if you try to dodge the process, if you try to swim upstream, you're going to get knocked down every single time. It doesn't mean that you don't have a purpose here. It just means that you're not ready yet. Whenever something happens, whenever you fail at something, it's just a lesson. You're taking a class every time something bad happens, and it kind of goes back to that quote of life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. When we start to latch on to this mindset of life happens to us, then that's how we become victims. And slowly but surely, it starts to define who we are. And pretty soon, we're going to be that person. We're going to be that, that 50 or 60-year-old that is just unhappy. And they still feel stuck. They still feel aimless. And they feel like everything bad is just always happening to them. And it shouldn't be happening to them, because they live under this narrative of, hey, I'm a really good person. I do this, I do that. I just loaned this other person the other day $200, just so that they can make their car payment this month. I'm a really good person. Why does everything bad always happen to me? Right? We start to play we start to play the martyr, right? You feel powerless. So you try to grab onto as much power as you can. You need to try and control everything. Because you feel like you're not in control. Now, imposter syndrome. I was talking earlier today about always going through this process throughout your whole life. It's endless, right? But imposter syndrome is also imposter syndrome is just a very temporary stage. It's a very temporary life stage, and I should clarify too that there's a huge difference between imposter syndrome and the process. Imposter syndrome is just the beginning of it. It is the ultimate test to see how strong you really are. And if you really are who you say you are. Chris Williamson, I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's a British podcaster out of Austin, Texas. He has this quote. He talks all the time about, You know, are you really who you say you are? Are you really who you portray yourself to be? Really ask yourselves those questions. Also, what are your motives? Are your motives right now just to make a lot of money, or just to sell a product, or sell a package? Or when it comes to relationships, are you just in it for the sex? Are you just in it for, just to have somebody there to keep you company? Are you in the relationship that you're in right now because the guy that you're with makes a certain amount of money? Or maybe you're married, and you're really looking forward to that day where one of you files for divorce. And so now, now, assuming you don't sign a prenup, right? Now, now after you finalize your divorce, now your husband now owes you alimony. And if you have kids together, that's even better, because now you get alimony and you get child support from your ex-husband. And there's a lot of women that do that. I don't know I don't know how often it is. I don't know how common that is amongst married women, but you know, there's a lot of women out there like that. And yeah, there's the occasional dude that will just marry a woman that's much older than him, just so that he gets her money when she dies. There's that too. But again, what are your motives? That's honestly, that's the easiest way that you can navigate through imposter syndrome, is finding out what the end goal here is for you. What is your payout? Hey, have you really thought about that? Seriously. I think in this day of the internet and social media, with all these different platforms, all these different influencers that are telling people one thing, that hey, if you if you create this app, or if you sign up for this program with me right now, trust me, within the next 6 months, you will earn you will earn seven figures worth of YouTube monetization, or Instagram, whatever, wherever your currency is coming from. If you do this, if you follow what we say, I guarantee you, within the next 3 to 6 months, you are going to become successful. You are going to have an overnight success if you do this. If you just grind nonstop, 24/7, 100 hours a week, don't, no breaks, don't do anything else, don't eat, don't take a piss, don't drink any water. If you just work and grind for the next 100 to 200 days, I guarantee you are going to become a multi millionaire. But that doesn't work, because, right, obviously you're going to burn out severely. You're going to go crazy, and you may not even become a millionaire. But now you've lost all of your mental faculties. Now you're emotionally unstable. Now you are just severely unhappy. uh, because you kept doing this or you kept doing that to try to reach some kind of threshold, and it hasn't worked out. Shocker. You have to give yourself some time. You have to go through the process. And if you were in the middle of imposter syndrome right now, embrace it. And appreciate it for what it is right now, because it's not going to be there forever. But it's going to be there to teach you and for you to learn. And going back to what I was talking about earlier about people looking up to these influencers, promising them the world that, hey, if you do your video is going to go viral. If you do this, but it just, again, it doesn't work out like that. But some people fall trap. I mean, I certainly did. And what they do and how they carry themselves portrays, it conveys to other people that they are not trustworthy, or that they're being very inauthentic. But it's all part of the process. As long as you don't get into the habit of doing that continuously throughout your life, as long as you are apologetic about it and own up to it, you can really learn a lot from being in imposter syndrome. You use this as an opportunity to grow and to find out who you are. Who are you really? And if you haven't figured that out yet, again, that's okay. I can't reiterate that enough. Especially if you're between the ages of 18 and 24 right now. If you're between 18 and 24 right now and you're feeling all this pressure from your friends and your family, you have people in your life calling you a loser or telling you that you're a complete screw up, or not supporting you or not having your back. Just know that you are not fully developed as a human being yet. Where you are right now is completely normal. In fact, if people expect the opposite from you, it's very unrealistic. Because again, you're not fully developed up here yet, right? You're not fully developed right up here in your frontal lobe, I think is what they call that. Until you're 25, 26 years old. And even at 25, 26 years old, your life hasn't even started yet. I honestly think that life doesn't even really start for people until they're 30, 31, And again, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. You are going to be a completely different person every 10 years. When you're 30, you're going to be a completely different person than you were at 20. When you're 40, you're going to be a completely different person than you were at 30, right? If you are 50, you are going to be a completely different person than you were at 40. I think now I'm finally at a point where I can realistically reassure myself that, hey, you know what, at who you are at 30, at whatever age I am right now, 32, I mean, it's not going to be the same thing at 42 or even at 37. I'll probably be a completely different person in just 5 years. I mean, people don't stop growing. People don't stop learning. People don't stop changing. It's part of life. And I just want to repeat this one more time before we go ahead and wrap this up. That if you are confused right now, if you feel like a loser, don't. You're not a loser. If you feel like you're stuck, you're not stuck. You just have to learn how to climb. You're just gonna have to learn how to climb out of whatever hole or ditch you're in right now. But if that's where you are right now, that's okay. You are perfect where you are right now. I am perfect where I am right now. Nobody is immune to setbacks or emotional breakdowns. Everybody's different. Think about that whenever you're outside and you're walking and whatever person that's driving right next to you on the street that's driving a Bentley and you look at them and you think, wow. I mean, what I would give to be that guy right now that's driving the Bentley. He probably doesn't have any worries or any issues, you know. Maybe you do, and maybe you talk to the guy driving the Bentley and you give him your whole life story and you tell him, you know, man, I kind of wish I had your life, man. You know, I grew up like this. You know, my parents were really mean to me growing up, and you know, I'm poor. You know, like I don't have any money, and you might start talking to the guy in the Bentley, right? And you know, maybe he empathizes with you, or you know, maybe he's willing to give you a listening ear, you know, but you know, but he's human. He can really only tell you what he can tell you, and he can really only give you the time that he has, right? And you might misconstrue that as, oh well, he doesn't care because he's rich. Why should he care? You know, he's just another, you know, he's just another rich dude, you know, that thinks that he's above people and thinks that he's too good to listen to my problems. Well, maybe it's not that. Maybe he has problems of his own that he has to deal with, that he has to work through. And we all have problems, you know, and I think people for the most part, and you know, this might be a little bit overly optimistic of me, but I think people for the most part care. I think most people are very empathetic, but but at the same time, you know, you kind of have to you have to be your own you have to be your own savior, and you can do it. Whether you feel like whether you feel lost right now or whether you think that you kind of got the hang of it, or feel like you got a stronger advantage because you've learned a lot and you've developed your skill. Um, you are your own best friend. And if you know if you feel like you don't have any of the answers right now and you feel stuck and you feel lost, again, it's okay. We're gonna go ahead and just get into some meditation for a couple minutes, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pray, and then we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up because I think I got to get going here pretty soon. So right now, let's just take a minute or two and really think about first, and you guys can write this down if you want, if you have a pen or paper, if you have a journal or a piece of paper, a pen handy, go ahead and write this down. Um, write down, who am I? What do I like to do? What is my purpose? What are my motives? Go ahead and write that down. And then I really want you to think about it. Just really sit back, make yourself nice and comfortable. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that too. I'm just going to sit back in my chair. I'm just really gonna just think about and ponder who I am and what am I trying to get out of it? What is my purpose here? How is what I'm doing contributing to other people's lives? How is it making other people better? So just go ahead and sit in that for a minute. Okay. So with that, we're just going to go ahead and take a couple of deep breaths. Breathe in. Hold that for about 5 seconds. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go ahead and release. Inhale. Give yourself that 5-second hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and release. Man, that feels good, doesn't it? Well, let's go ahead and pray. Dear Lord, thank you so much for our time together. Thank you so much that we have this platform right now where where we can just talk about these very uncomfortable truths and really confront our own realities, Lord, so that we can really grow and that we can really become who you created us to be. Dear Lord, thank you so much for anybody that's watching this right now that feels stuck, or they feel lost, or they feel confused. No matter where they are right now, no matter how old they are right now, it doesn't matter, Lord. The only thing that matters right now is that they feel very powerless. And they feel like they don't have any answers. They don't have any solutions. But I just pray, Lord, that you will continue to that you will give us the understanding and the clarity, and that you will help us to just extend ourselves grace, Lord. We need to be kinder to each other. We need to be more graceful. Not only to ourselves, but to each other. Because we're all just humans. We're all still growing, and we're all still going through it, Lord. Lord, I just thank you for this platform. I thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I just give the rest of the day to you, Lord. And I ask that you will just bless us all. That you will give us peace, and that you will help us all heal, and that you will help us gain more clarity and peace of mind, that everything will work out. And we just ask this, we just thank you, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, guys. I hope that I hope that this message helped. I hope that you took, if you took at least something out of it, then I've done my job. So I really hope that that at the very least you guys have some understanding. And if you didn't know what imposter syndrome was before that, if you were always confused as to why you tried to why you try to always become like somebody else, or like try to do things exactly the same as other people have tried to do them, I just want to let you know that you're not alone and that it's normal. So anyway, guys, hope that you have a great rest of your day or rest of your Sunday, and like always, I hope that you have hope that you stay safe. I hope that you stay sane, and like always, I love you, and I will talk to you again next time.